Okay, so I don't know. Um, the Great Spirit put it on my heart to talk about and read about the Book of Thoth. Okay, so that's what I like to do. I want to see if I have um, the Emerald tablets here. I'm not sure if I do or not. Is this it? Okay, this is it. Okay. So this interpretation is by Doriel. Okay, and like I said, I do think this may have been something to do with the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, so it's saying here the history of the tablets translated in the following pages is strange. Beyond the belief of modern scientists, their antiquity is stupendous, dating back some 36,000 years BC. The writer is Thoth, the Atlantean priest king, who founded a colony in ancient Egypt after the sinking of the mother country. He was the builder of the Great Pyramid of Giza and erroneously attributed to Cheops. So, for some 16,000 years, he ruled the ancient race of Egypt from approximately 50,000 BC to 36,000 BC. At the time, the ancient barbarous race among which he and his followers had settled had been raised to a high degree of civilization. Thoth was an immortal. He had conquered death, passing only when he willed, and even then not through death. His vast wisdom made him ruler over various Atlantean colonies, including the ones in South and Central America. So, for those who don't know about Atlantis, okay, it's real. There's many locations, all interconnected. And it's all about this universe that we live and play in, or that we partake in. Um, it's about wanting to acquire knowledge. Okay, Thoth is thought. So I'm always reminded of that song, um, "Earthbound Misfit." You know, the guy says, I thought of everything." You know, so like we were saying, these thoughts, every thought man could think of, God had and his wisdom and Lady Wisdom, she, is always there to reach out and grab. But, you know, these are the nuggets that, the universe hides. And unless you open up and reach to certain levels, you'll never see these doors. Okay? And so the best way I could put Toth is he would be maybe the keeper of the doors, the scribe, the ultimate scribe, the ultimate writer's inkhorn, you know. Um, So he was also the recorder. He has a lot of Enoch attributes. You know, Enoch the scribe, the dedicated one. He was the one to know everything. Everything there is to everything. To every realm, to every plane, to every place, to every mechanism and part of the earth, how it works, and how God works. So, and what do I think wiped out Atlantis? Possibly a comet, you know, whatever, or a flood. What do I think caused the flood? Probably something like CERN's machine, something like that. So that probably not only caused the flood, but it also caused the fall. Okay, so Thoth had conquered death. His wisdom made him ruler over various Atlantean colonies, including the ones in South and Central America. So it might be my opinion that Teotihuacan, or whatever it's called, is probably named after Thoth too. When the time came for him to lead Egypt, he erected the Great Pyramid over the entrance of the great halls of Amenti, placed it in his records, appointed guards for his secrets among the highest of his people. In latter times, the descendants of these guards became pyramid priests, which Thoth was deified as the god of wisdom, the recorder by those in the age of darkness, followed by his passing. In legend, the halls of Amenti became the underworld. The halls of the gods where the soul passed after death for judgment. So, like I said, if you want to probably, you know, where the afterlife lies, you have to get beyond the pyramids. You have to be weighed. Okay, so Thoth passed in the bodies of men in the manner inscribed in the tablets. As such, he incarnated 3 times, in his last being known as Hermes, the thrice born. In this incarnation, he left the writings known to modern occultists as the Emerald Tablets, later in far lesser exposition of the ancient mysteries. So the tablets translated in this work are 10, which left in the Great Pyramid the custody of the pyramid priests. Now I've seen these pyramid priests; they almost wear the same, almost type of, I guess you would call it a top hat, or it looks like a chef's hat almost. You know, like the high priests wear. Let's say like in a tabernacle in Timnah, like how they have those certain kind of hats. I can't think of what they're called, but yeah, I'm guessing these were the pyramid priests. Okay. So the tablets translated in this work were left in the Great Pyramid in the custody of the pyramid priests. The 10 are divided into 13 parts for the sake of convenience. Okay, so there's the number 13. Everything revolves around 13, 13, 13. When I look at that Bitcoin, I think of the number 13. However, in those contained herein are secrets will prove the inestimable value to the serious student. They should read, not once, but 100 times, for only thus the true meaning be revealed. A casual reading will give glimpses of beauty, but more intensive study will open avenues of wisdom to the seeker. Okay? So that is basically the same saying as those who hear the word, and the word springs up, and then it's choked out, or whatever. Those who hear this word, heed this word, understand this word, and use it and apply it, not only inside their hearts, but in their minds and out of them as well. So, some 1300 years BC. So here you go, 13 again. 1300 years BC, Egypt, the ancient Kem, was in turmoil. Many delegations of priests were sent to other parts of the world. Among these were the pyramid priests, who carried with them the emerald tablets as a talisman by the way in which they could exercise authority over the less advanced priestcraft of races descended from other Atlantean colonies. These tablets were understood from legend to give the bearer authority from Thoth. So the particular group of priests bearing the tablets emigrated to South America, where they found a flourishing race, the Mayas, who remembered much of the ancient wisdom. So if you guys don't know, a lot of the Egyptian stuff is based upon Mayan things. Okay. Okay, so in the 10th century, the Mayas had thoroughly settled in the Yucatan. The tablets were placed beneath the altar of one of the great temples of the sun god. Okay. After the conquest of the Mayas by the Spaniards, the cities were abandoned and the treasures of the temples forgotten. It should be understood that the Great Pyramid of Egypt has and still has been the temple of initiation into the mysteries. Christ, Solomon, Apollonius, and others were initiated there. The writer who has connection with the Great White Lodge, okay, through works of the pyramid priesthood, was instructed to recover and return to the pyramid the ancient tablets. After adventures need not to be detailed here, was accomplished. Before returning them, he's given permission to translate and retain a copy of wisdom engraved on the tablets. This was done in 1925. Only now has been permission to give part to be published. So there's more to this. It's expected many will scoff, yet the true student will read between the lines and gain wisdom. If the light is in you, the light which is engraved in these tablets will respond. Now, a word as to the material aspect of the tablets. It consists of 12 tablets of emerald green, formed a substance created through alchemical transmutation. They are imperishable, resistant to all elements and substances. In effect, the atomic and cellular structure is fixed, no change ever taking place. In this respect, they violate the material law of ionization upon the engraved characters in this ancient Atlantean language. Characters which respond to a tune through waves, releasing the associated mental vibration into the mind of the reader. These tablets are fastened together with hoops and golden colored alloy suspended from a rod of the same material. So much for the material appearance. The wisdom contained therein is the foundation of ancient mysteries. As the one who reads with open eyes and mind, his wisdom will be increased 100-fold. Okay, so if you don't know about the Great White Brotherhood, Christ would be the Great White Brother. Okay? Okay, so let's read this a little bit here, huh? I thought the Atlantean, master of mysteries, keeper of records, mighty king, magician, lived from generation to generation. Being about to pass into the halls of Amenti, sat down for the guidance of those that are to come after, these records of the mighty wisdom of great Atlantis. So in the city of Kiar, in the island of Undal, in a time far past, I began this incarnation. Not as the little men of the present age did the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from aeon to aeon did they renew their lives in the halls of Amenti, where the river of life flows eternally onward. Okay. So right off the bat, Thoth is already talking in biblical terms. Right off the bat. So he's already mentioning the river of life. 100 times 10. I descended the dark way that led into the light. As many times as I have ascended from the darkness into the light, my strength and my power renewed. Okay, so you say basically, hey, until I got to this light, boom, I was renewed. My youth was renewed like the eagle's wings. Now for a time I descend, and the men of Chem shall know me no more. See, the real origins of everything is really ancient Kemetic teachings. And I believe Ptah-hotep was one of the African books that really teach, just a lot of laws of this universe. Okay, so in the time yet unborn will I rise again, mighty and potent, requiring accounting of those left behind me. Beware, O Menachem, if ye have falsely betrayed my teaching, for I shall cast you down from your high estate in the darkness of the caves. Whence ye came, betray not my secrets to the men of the north or the men of the south, lest my curse fall upon thee. Oh, see, so Thoth is already putting down laws and authority. And he has the ability to curse and to heal. So beware. Okay, remember and heed my words. Surely I will return again and require of thee that which ye guard. So this knowledge and these laws, he's basically saying, even though these men guard it, they will still testify to their deeds when Thoth revisits. Okay, so I, even from beyond time and beyond death, will I return, rewarding or punishing as ye have requited your trust. Now, what did Christ say? Okay, the kingdom, the kingdom of heaven is like what? A man who went on a long journey. Okay, a long journey. And he entrusted these treasures to certain people. This is the same concept. Okay, so great were my people in the ancient days, great beyond the conception of the little people now around me. Knowing the wisdom of old, seeking far within the heart of infinity knowledge that belonged to earth's youth. Wise were the wisdom of the children of light who dwelt among us. Strong were we with the power drawn from the eternal fire. In all of these, greatest among the children of men was my father, Thoth, keeper of the great temple, link between the children of light who dwelt within the temple of the races of men who inhabited 10 islands, mouthpiece after the 3, dweller of Junal, speaking to the kings with a voice that must be obeyed. Grew I there from a child into manhood, being taught by my father the elder mysteries, until in time there grew within the fire of wisdom, until I burst in the consuming flame. Okay? Now, what did God, what's the Bible say about God? God is a consuming fire. Okay? So till I burst into an eternal flame. Not desired I, but the attainment of wisdom. See, he's talking like Enoch. Well, Uriel asked Enoch, Enoch, why do you want to know these things? Why do you want to know these things? Enoch said, I want to know everything. Same with Solomon. Solomon wanted the same thing. Okay? Until on a great day the command came from the dweller of the temple that I be brought before him. Few were there among the children of men who had looked upon that mighty face and lived. Well, here's another exact Bible saying. I mean, this is exactly the Bible. Okay? What did God tell Moses? Nobody can look at my face and live. Okay? For not as the sons of men are the children of light when they are not incarnate in a physical body. Chosen was I from the sons of men, taught by the dweller, so that his purposes might be fulfilled. Purposes yet unborn in the womb of time. Long ages I dwelt in the temple, learning and never yet ever more wisdom, until I too approached the light emitted from the great fire. Taught me he the path to Amenti, the underworld where the great king sits on the throne of might. Deep I bowed in homage before the Lord of life and the Lords of death, receiving as my gift the key of life. Okay? That is what you would call an ankh or a key. Okay, to the house of David, say. You know, in the Church of Philadelphia. So here's Thoth receiving a key. Free was I of the halls of Amenti, bound not by death to the circle of life. He's not a hamster in the wheel, so to speak. For the stars I journeyed until space and time became as naught. Then, having drunk deep of the cup of wisdom, I looked into the hearts of men, and there found I greater mysteries and was glad. For only in the search of truth could my soul be stilled, and the flame within be quenched. That's how I'm starting to feel. Down through the ages I live, seeing those around me taste of the cup of death and return again in the light of life. Gradually from the kingdoms of Atlantis passed waves of consciousness that have been one with me, only to be replaced by a spawn of a lower star. In obedience to the law, the word master grew into flower. The word of the master grew into flower. Okay, there you go, right there. Okay, God's word blooms into a wonderful lily. Downward in the darkness turned the thoughts of the Atlanteans, until at last his wrath arose from the Aguanti, the dweller. This word has no English equivalent. It means a state of detachment. Speaking the word, calling the power deep in earth's heart, the sons of Amenti heard, and hearing, directed the changing of the flower of fire that burns eternally, and changing and shifting, using the logos that the great fire changed its direction. Over the world broke the great waters, drowning and seeking, changing earth's balance, until only the temple of light was left standing on the great mountain of Ondal, still rising. Still rising out of the water. Some there who were living saved from the rush of the fountains. Called to me then the master, gather together my people, take them by the arts you have learned across the waters, until you reach the land of the hairy barbarians. dwelling in the caves of the desert. Follow there the plan ye know of. Now, what did David say? You wound the hairy scalp of my enemies. Okay, so gathered I then my people entered into the great ship of the master. Upward we rose into the morning dark. Beneath us lay the temple. Suddenly over it arose the waters, vanished from the earth until the time appointed was the great temple. This sounds a lot like Noah's Ark. So fast we led toward the son of the morning. Here you go, son of the morning. Okay. Until beneath us lay the hand of the children of Chem. Raging they came with cudgels and spears, and lifted in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. Then I raised my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them still in their tracks as fragments of a stone of the mountain. Does that sound like a rod of iron? Okay. Then spoke I the words calm and peaceful, telling them of the might of Atlantis, saying we were children of the sun and its messengers. Cowed I them by my display of I don't know, magicians, magnificence, I don't know. Until their feet were groveled when I released them. Long dwelt we in the land of Chem, long and yet long again, until obeying the commands of the master, who while sleeping yet lives eternally. Now that's interesting. I sent from the sons of Atlantis, sent them in many directions. From the womb of time, wisdom might rise again in her children. Long time dwelt I in the land of Chem, doing great works by the wisdom within me. Upward grew into the light of knowledge the children of Chem. Watered by the rains of my wisdom, blasted I a path to Amenti, that I might retain my powers, living from age to age, a son of Atlantis, keeping the wisdom, preserving the records. Great grew the sons of Chem, conquering the people around them, growing slowly upwards in soul force. Now for a time I go among them in the dark halls of Amenti, deep in the halls of the earth, before the lords of the powers, face to face, one again with the dweller. Raised I high over the entrance, a doorway, gateway leading it down to Amenti. Few there would have the courage to dare it. Few passed the portal to dark Amenti. Raised over the passage, a mighty pyramid, using the power that overcomes earth force, meaning gravity. Deep and yet deeper placed I a force house or chamber. From it carved a circular passage reaching almost to the great summit. There in the apex set I the crystal, sending the ray into the time-space, drawing the force from out of the ether, concentrating upon the gateway to Amenti. Okay, so this reminds me of something that they do in India. I can't think of where it's at, but maybe in Angkor Wat. I gotta think of that. Other chambers I built and left vacant to all seeming, yet hidden within them are the keys to Amenti. So Thoth is saying right here that, you know, these places what might seem empty, they really have, these keys. Okay, and that reminds me of makes me think of the Black Pyramid. Other chambers I built, vacant to all seeming, yet hidden within them are the keys to Amenti. He who encouraged would dare the dark realms, let him be purified first by long fasting. Lie in the sarcophagus of stone in my chamber. And that reminds me of the big Osiris sarcophagus. What is that thing used for? Then I revealed the great mysteries. Soon shall he follow to where I shall meet him, even in the darkness of earth shall I meet him. I, Thoth, the Lord of wisdom, meet him, and hold him and dwell with him always, until the great pyramid, patterned after the pyramid of earth force, burning eternally, that it too may remain in the ages. In it I built knowledge of the magic science, so that it might be here, when again I return from Amenti. While I sleep in the halls of Amenti, my soul roaming free will incarnate, dwell among men in this form or another. Hermes thrice born. Emissary on earth am I of the dweller, fulfilling his command, so man might be lifted. Now return I to the halls of Amenti, leaving me behind some of my wisdom. Preserve ye, keep ye the command of the deliverer, lift ever toward your eyes, toward the light. Surely in time ye are one with the Master, surely by light ye are one with the Master, surely by right you are one with the All. No, so Thoth is laying down and telling you of your authority and your birthright. Now I depart from you. Know my commandments, keep them and be them. I will be with you, helping and guiding you into the light. Now before me opens the portal. Go I down in the darkness of night. Okay, so we'll stop there. I never really read all these Emerald Tablets, so kind of interested to look at them and see what's going on here. So, yeah, we'll continue later.